Welcome to A Call for Love. Today we're on the second part two of a 4 podcast series on the 4 agreements. It has been really enlightening. The 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz goes like this. The first agreement, be impeccable with your word. The second one, don't take anything personally. The third, don't make assumptions. And the fourth, always do your best. Yes, those are the agreements that we are talking about today. And if you have not caught episode 94, go back. You don't have to listen to them sequentially, but go back and listen because each one holds special truths that will really find your way into your heart and into your life. Because here we take theory and we apply it into real life time. And today we're talking about the second agreement. And for the second agreement, it's about not taking things personally. It's actually built upon the first agreement. And that's where we move to. Now, it's whatever happens around you, don't take it personally. It sounds so easy. And that's why I want to share with you today how you can really bring this to light, how you can really invite this into your heart and soul. Because, most of us take things personally. It's no surprise through the domestication that we grew up with. We were programmed to care what other people think, to please other people, our parents, our teachers, our caregivers, our family members, our friends. And so that is the domestication that we have grown up with. And we are inviting to dismantle here because everybody is living their own experience. Have you ever sent a text and somebody interprets it wrong? And of course, it's very hard to communicate via a text. But the point here is that everyone hears it through their own lens, right? Just like in the previous agreement and the previous podcast, there's that fog. We're all looking through a different lens. And we want to really anchor here into our truth. We often interpret things and we take it personally because of personal importance. And that means assuming that everything is about us. Have you ever got that? You think that everyone's looking at you. You think everyone's judging you. You think everyone's criticizing or comparing, when really they are not. We are just mirroring our insecurities to other people. And when we release taking things personally, there is huge revelation. There's huge freedom. And I really love this saying from Dr. Wayne Dyer. He said, if somebody called you a car, are you going to believe that you're a car? Are you going to go to the gas station, open your mouth, put a nozzle down your throat, and pour gasoline into it? No, it's completely absurd. So if somebody says to you, you're a car, you're going to go, well, that is completely ridiculous. When there's a seed of insecurity or a seed, and he calls it an agreement that we have believed, then if somebody projects it onto us, it actually triggers us. We don't want that. And that's what this agreement is all about. Don't take it personally. My brother has this great analogy. He says, if somebody's going to throw you a mud ball, are you going to catch it? No, you don't want to get dirty. Well, as Don Miguel Ruiz says, it's like poison. Or here in this case, the mud ball, it's dirty. And people are just spewing their dirt, probably their wounds, their issues, their domestication, their ancestral wounds and patterns onto us, onto you. And that's what this agreement is, not taking it personally. We want to detach, this is the process, from other people's opinions. And this is the interesting point here, is that we're discretionary. We want to have acclimates and approval and praise from people. But then we don't want the flip side. We don't want the judgment, the criticism, the put downs. And it really doesn't go that way. So I'd like to share a story. I've told this before, but I was guiding a meditation class and somebody came to purchase a 5-class pass for meditation. I got her settled, went back to the desk, and the lady there says, "Oh, Linda, aren't you so happy that she purchased passes just for your class? Out of all the classes in the studio, she's bought passes to come to your meditation class." And I said, "Well, actually, no, I'm not, because if I put my self-worth and value on what other people do and give back to me, I'm doing it for the wrong reason. I'm going to be hurt, because if I want people's acclimates, if I want people to like what I'm doing and that it resonates with them, that's great. That's my intention. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. I don't have to take it personally that they didn't come back to meditation, or they don't choose my meditation, or they don't come to any of my courses or platforms. I'm not going to take it personally, because what I do, and I've always said this in A Call for Love, I offer this from my heart. It's my soul journey. If it lands in your heart, then it's meant to be. If it isn't, that's really okay. I also said in another episode, we're not everybody's cup of tea. We cannot put our self-worth on other people's opinions of us. And that's the flip side of don't take it personally. We want to be mindful of when people say great things or when people say things that hurt. Not taking either personally liberates us, sets us free. And that's what we learn through meditation. We really come to know our self-worth. We come to know our value from the inside, not from the outside. So what people are saying about not taking things personally, it's not really about you. It's what people are projecting on you is from their mindset. It doesn't really have anything to do about you. Often, and I love what he brings up here in this book, because he talks about fear. And fear is very real, because fear comes out as anger. I didn't know that. I thought when people got angry at me, it's because they were angry at me. But now I realize the undercurrent of anger is actually fear. Most of the emotions, and of course in Miracles, it says there's 2 emotions, love and fear. But under the anger, there is actually fear. I will give you an example. You are taking care of a child and they reach for the stove with the palm of their hand, and you scream and you pull them away and you yell at them, and don't do that. What are you doing? Are you not thinking? You're not trying to be mean. This anger is actually fear spiraling its head. And that is something that we notice. Fear often shows as anger. So when people are angry at us, when people are judging us, when people are criticizing us, we are not taking it personally, because we don't know where it's coming from. It often comes from their own fear, their own mindset. But here's the thing. This is my twist, that our inner wounds are triggered by other people's words. And that's why we take things personally. Our emotions are sacred messengers. So when you are getting triggered, it's because there's something that you're holding within. There's agreement that you are actually believing within yourself. And these wounds aren't mistakes. They're actually, I believe, soul invitations. I believe we have come here on this physical plane to work through soul agreements, to evolve as soul beings. And this is the work. When I notice a trigger, when I notice somebody's words really stabbing me like a sword or a knife, which is very graphic, but it feels like that emotionally, I then know that's a sign. It's a sign to turn inward. And that's why I've created Soul Skool. It's a community where I guide people through emotional freedom. I don't care if what size people are, age, look, sex, gender, any of that economic situation. We all get emotionally triggered. This is the part of the common consciousness, the human collective consciousness that we are really navigating through now. We get these wounds, these emotional wounds. And it's time to turn inward to heal them, to circle them around. I've created something that's called the Sacred Circle of Seven. It takes you through the 7 days, 7 intentions to come around, to come back home to who you are, to notice where you're starting from, where the trigger is, and turn it around. That is the gift here. And I want to separate that from the second agreement so that you know when you're taking things personally, it's natural because we're holding wounds inside of us. And those wounds are, as I said, invitations. All right. So just be kind to yourself, be compassionate, notice, be mindful, and then join me on Soul Skool. It's free. The link is in the show notes. It's Soul Skool on the platform Skool, because school is cool. And here, I love that. I had to say that because I think it's just so fun. But school is not spelled with a CH. It's SKOOL, and it's Soul Skool. I feel like it's perfect for me being a teacher who has retired, but I did teach for 30 years and I'm just teaching in different ways. In any case, he goes on to say that we are the directors. We are the directors of our life. And he calls it of a movie. And what that means is that we create this narrative in our mind. And when people say things and we take it personally, we're allowing them to really manipulate our narrative, our storyline. That will cause suffering. You know, the Buddha says when you push away or when you cling to something, it causes suffering. I also love Byron Katie, Loving What Is. When we can hold space for all these emotions and feelings and sensations, and really they're just energy, and we can work through them, they can release so that we create this beautiful protective bubble around us. You know, that white light where people's words, they can come to us, but they don't have to come into us. They don't have to come into our movie set. They can stay on the perimeter, because when we are standing in our truth, it doesn't matter what other people say. I'll give you another great example. I was having a discussion with a friend, and they had been saying that maybe I was experiencing something. And it was so outlandish. It was so crazy. It didn't even land with me. I didn't even get upset. I laughed. I said, well, that's very interesting because that's coming from their story, not mine. I do not have that feeling whatsoever. I didn't even for 1 second take it personally because it wasn't true. It wasn't anything that I was holding inside. And that's the difference, right? Between noticing that you are taking something personally and when you aren't. When you aren't, it's not in your consciousness. But when you are taking it personally, it's a sign there's something there to heal, to notice, to hold space for. It's really a sign that we're on something here, something that will move the needle forward, something that will help us. Now, when we think of the voice of the soul, Don Miguel Ruiz talks about And it says, your mind has parts. It has the egoic mind and the heart, the soul, the higher self. And, one creates peace, one creates conflict. But when we hold space for the truth, when we come back to the soul, and I'm going to use soul here, you might say spirit, you might say essence or energy. I like to use the word soul because I have seen somebody pass away. And I know that when you're looking at a physical body and the soul, the spirit, the energy has left, our body's just a shell. But where does that energy go? Well, I believe it's in our soul. And then we come back. We come back to our truth, knowing what we're here to heal, what we're here to notice. Heal can be a very strong word for people, but it's an evolution. It's an evolution to empower ourselves and to elevate our consciousness, because when we elevate our consciousness, we elevate the consciousness around us. They say you are the average of the 5-6 people who you associate with. Well, when we elevate ourselves, our whole world, our whole life elevates. And that's a really beautiful thing. Now, the problem here is that many people are addicted to suffering. Many people are addicted to negativity. I call it the shadow self. And you'll notice this because have you ever met that friend, family member, coworker, acquaintance? You see them, and the first thing they have to share is something scary, negative, hurtful, some news that's going on. I mean, if you listen to the news, we are based on fear as a society. But that addiction to suffering, we want to notice that, because sometimes the words that people send us are actually, maybe they're in that mindset of their shadow and they're sending those words that hurt. I feel that that's something to notice. That's an old agreement we made. Don Miguel Ruiz says, we do not have to hold on to those old stories. We can let them go. The point here is to notice the words that trigger you. They really point you to where the healing is needed. And I really want you to hold space for that. It's okay when people say words that hurt, because then, as I said before, it's an invitation to notice and then to come back to our truth, to come back to the truth of who you are. Now, the problem can be maybe you have lost sight of who you are. Maybe you are agreeing with those illusions. Well, that's the invitation. And that's why I do invite you to Soul Skool, which brings us to the last part that I really want to share. And that is the power of boundaries and inner peace. Everyone walks their walk, right? Everyone's on their journey. And we can't really change what other people are going through. And we don't want to, and we can't. Mel Robbins says, let them, let me. It's the same kind of idea. Everyone says it in different ways with the language that resonates with them. But when we set the healthy boundaries, when we say, so-and-so is saying this, but we can set our healthy boundaries by expressing what we need, by saying yes or no without guilt to support ourselves, to follow our heart, which is our energy center and the truth, and to stay grounded in our truth. It's not easy, but that is the coming around from taking things personally. If there's a negativity, if there's some shadow work, it's time to come into your light. And the best way is to notice the safety, the container that you need to create in order to feel it, to heal it, right? We can't feel something to heal it if we don't feel safe, if we don't feel safe in a container, if we don't feel safe in an environment. And we want to hold space for that. And that will require setting some healthy boundaries. I hope that you have enjoyed today's episode about the second agreement. Don't take anything personally. When you follow, be impeccable with your word, which, if you are more impeccable with your word, as I share on Soul Skool, that you have free access to, and journal questions, shadow work, and light work. When you speak with integrity, when you speak with kindness, when you speak with love and compassion, those words turn from the sharp edge of a knife to softness. And we could even stop in its track those words that people can take personally because they are hurtful or they are not really thought out. They're not very mindful. Those two agreements alone, he says, can solve 75% of your emotional turmoil, right? Now, I have to say on that spin, it's to notice it. But then, of course, the journey is to heal it, to come around, to come into our truth. And that's the soul work. That's the soul work that I'm here to do for myself and to be a guide, because we're all in this together. We're not separate beings. And the call is for love. It's a call for love, a call for love and compassion for yourself and for others. But don't take it personally. If you are taking it personally, it's time to turn inward. It's time to release the shadow and invite in the light. All right. Thank you for joining. I'm so grateful you're here. We have 2 more episodes on this. Don't make assumptions and always do your best. I hope you join in. 94 was be impeccable with your word. This is episode 95. So we have 2 more episodes coming up that really dive deeper into this whole concept. I hope you join in, and please share it with a friend. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. Really, from my heart to yours, namaste, dear friends.